Welcome to Julius Caesar Act III. Now, Act 1 and 2, you may have noticed, were rather similar. Both involved the characters getting ready to assassinate Caesar, discussing whether it was necessary or not, planning their attack, weighing the pros and cons. Well, Act 3, we finally reach the climax of the play, where it all happens. To be honest, Act 3 of Julius Caesar is the entire play. Scene 1, we're going to witness the event that we've been waiting for. In Scene 2, we're going to see two speeches, one by Brutus and one by Mark Antony. And these two speeches will serve as a model for using propaganda and persuasive techniques in public speaking. There is a Scene 3 as well, but it is very brief. Pretty much everything that happens is in these two scenes. These two scenes are what has been foreshadowed so far, and these two scenes are what is going to affect the rest of the play going forward. I'm going to be pausing when we get to important lines and explaining them, but otherwise you really need to be reading the footnotes on your own, pausing every time one pops up. There's way too much here for me to pause and explain everything. Likely we're going to go over some of this stuff together in class, but it's important you at least have an understanding of what happens when you walked in. So you remember last time, Caesar and everybody were going towards the capital. The soothsayer was on his way to give one last warning, and a commoner named Artemidorus had written a letter because he had discovered the conspiracy, and he is trying to warn Caesar. So let's pick up there, on the way to the capital, in Act 3, Scene 1.
Caesar! The Ides of March are come.
Aye, Caesar, but not gone.
Hail, Caesar! Read this schedule.
Trebonius doth desire you to read at your best leisure this, his humble suit.
Oh, Caesar, read mine first, for mine's a suit that touches Caesar nearer. Read it, great Caesar.
What touches us ourselves shall be last served.
Delay not, Caesar. Read it instantly.
What, is the fellow mad? Sirrah, give place.
What urge your petitions in the street? Come to the capital.
It's interesting, the one time Caesar actually pretends that he cares about the public more than himself, he ignores a letter that could have saved his life. Well, this is an example of dramatic irony, to be sure.
I wish your enterprise today may thrive.
What enterprise, Popilius?
Fare you well.
What said Popilius, Lena?
He wished today our enterprise might thrive. I fear our purpose is discovered.
Look how he makes to Caesar. Mark him.
Casca, be sudden, for we fear prevention. Brutus, what shall be done? If this be known, Cassius or Caesar never shall turn back, for I will slay myself.
Cassius, be constant. Popilius Lena speaks not of our purposes. For look, he smiles, and Caesar doth not change.
Trebonius knows his time, for look you, Brutus, he draws Mark Antony out of the way.
Where is Metellus Cimber? Let him go and presently prefer his suit to Caesar.
He is addressed. Press near and second him.
Casca, you are the first that rears your hand.
Are we all ready? What is now amiss that Caesar and his Senate must redress?
Most high, most mighty, and most puissant Caesar, Metellus Cimber throws before thy seat an humble heart.
I must prevent thee, Cimber. These couchings and these lowly courtesies might fire the blood of ordinary men, and turn pre-ordinance and first decree into the lane of children. Be not fond to think that Caesar bears such rebel blood that will be thawed from the true quality with that which melteth fools. I mean sweet words, low crooked curtsies, and base spaniel fawning. Thy brother by decree is banished. If thou dost bend and pray and fawn for him, I spurn thee like a cur out of my way. No, Caesar doth not wrong, nor without cause will he be satisfied.
Is there no voice more worthy than my own, to sound more sweetly in great Caesar's ear for the repealing of my banished brother?
I kiss thy hand, but not in flattery, Caesar, desiring thee that Publius Cimber may have an immediate freedom of repeal.
What? Brutus?
Pardon, Caesar, Caesar, pardon. As low as to thy foot doth Cassius fall to beg enfranchisement for Publius Cimber.
I could be well moved if I were as you. If I could pray to move, prayers would move me. But I am constant as the northern star, of whose true fixed and resting quality there is no fellow in the firmament.
This is a very important line when Caesar says, I am constant as the northern star. It raises two concerns. Number one, is being constant a good thing? If you're always the same and inflexible, does that mean you're a good leader, necessarily? The second thing, is Caesar constant? Just in Act II, we witnessed him say that he was going to the Capitol and would ignore warnings. Then he all of a sudden believes his wife and stays home. And then he hears the translation and decides to go again. Is Caesar really constant, or does he flip-flop sometimes? What is Caesar's tragic flaw? I think you can find the answer here.
The skies are painted with unnumbered sparks. They are all fire, and every one doth shine. But there's but one in all doth hold his place. So in the world 'tis furnished well with men, and men are flesh and blood, and apprehensive. Yet in the number I do know but one, that unassailable holds on his rank, unshaked of motion. And that I am he, let me a little show it, even in this, that I was constant, Simba should be banished, and constant do remain to keep him so.
O Caesar!
Hence wilt thou lift up Olympus?
Great Caesar!
Doth not Brutus bootless kneel? Speak hands for me! Et tu, Brute. Then for Caesar.
Liberty! Freedom! Tyranny is dead! Run hence! Proclaim! Cry it about the streets!
Some to the common pulpits and cry out, Liberty! Freedom! And enfranchisement!
People and senators, be not affrighted. Fly not. Stand still. Ambition's debt is paid.
Go to the pulpit, Brutus, and Cassius too.
Where's Publius?
Here, quite confounded with this mutiny.
Stand fast together, lest some friend of Caesar's should chance to...
Talk not of standing! Publius, good cheer. There is no harm intended to your person, nor to no Roman else. So tell them, Publius.
And leave us, Publius, lest that the people rushing on us should do your age some mischief.
Do so, and let no man abide this deed, but we the doers.
Where is Antony?
Fled to his house amazed. Men, wives, and children stare, cry out, and run as it were doomsday.
Fates, we will know your pleasures. That we shall die, we know. 'Tis but the time and drawing days out that men stand upon.
Why, he that cuts off 20 years of life cuts off so many years of fearing death.
Grant that, and then is death a benefit. So are we, Caesar's friends, that have abridged his time of fearing death. Stoop, Romans, stoop, and let us bathe our hands in Caesar's blood up to the elbows, and besmear our swords. Then walk we forth even to the marketplace, and waving our red weapons o'er our heads, let's all cry, peace, freedom, and liberty!
So you see the Brutus is really taking charge now that Caesar is dead, and he seems to have a certain mission in mind. While some people want to stand together and be brave, Caesar's death, Brutus feels, is actually going to be a good thing. He encourages them to cover their hands and their swords in his blood, to march around. And he even makes a remark that by killing Caesar, they've actually done him a favor. Caesar knows that he's going to die eventually, and they've saved him from worrying when. Cassius says, why, he that cuts off 20 years of his life cuts off so many years of fearing death. So, in other words, death saves you from fearing death itself.
Stoop then, and wash. How many ages hence shall this our lofty scene be acted over, in states unborn and accents yet unknown?
How many times shall Caesar bleed in sport, that now on Pompey's bases lies along, no worthier than the dust?
This line is actually rather funny. Cassius and Brutus ask themselves, how many times will people in the future play out this glorious event that they have carried out? Well, it's funny because we're actually watching a play, with actors that are enacting Caesar's death. This is probably a wink and a nod to the audience, because when you think about it, the answer is thousands, millions of times. And how long? Well, at least 2013 years. Something.
So oft as that shall be, so often shall the not of us be called the men that gave their country liberty.
What? Shall we forth?
Aye, every man away! Brutus shall lead, and we will grace his heels with the most boldest and best hearts of Rome.
Soft. Who comes here? A friend of Antony's.
Thus Brutus did my master bid me kneel. Thus did Mark Antony bid me fall down, and being prostrate, thus he bade me say, Brutus is noble, wise, valiant, and honest. Caesar was mighty, bold, royal, and loving. Say, I love Brutus, and I honour him. Say, I feared Caesar, honoured him, and loved him. If Brutus will vouchsafe that Antony may safely come to him, and be resolved how Caesar hath deserved to lie in death, Mark Antony shall not love Caesar dead so well as Brutus living, but will follow the fortunes and affairs of noble Brutus, thorough the hazards of this untrod state with all true faith. So says my master Antony.
Thy master is a wise and valiant Roman. I never thought him worse. Tell him, so please him come unto this place, he shall be satisfied, and by my honour depart untouched.
I'll fetch him presently.
I know that we shall have him well to friend.
You'll notice how Mark Antony is doing the exact same thing Cassius did in Act 1, appealing to Brutus's honor, appealing to Brutus's nobility, and in a way flattering Brutus, which is the very same thing that got Caesar killed in the first place, people telling him that he was worthy of taking the throne. Again, we want to be looking for common things that repeat themselves. We want to be looking for character flaws. You want to be looking for messages about life.
I wish we may, but yet have I a mind that fears him much, and my misgivings still full shrewdly to the purpose.
But here comes Antony. Welcome, Mark Antony.
O mighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Are all thy conquests, glories, triumphs, spoils shrunk to this little measure? Fare thee well. I know not, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else must be let blood, who else is rank? If I, myself, there is no hour so fit as Caesar's death's hour, nor no instrument of half that worth as those your swords, made rich with the most noble blood of all this world. I do beseech ye, if you bear me hard, now, whilst your purpled hands do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure, live 1,000 years. I shall not find myself so apt to die, no place will please me so, no means of death, as here by Caesar, and by you cut off the choice and master spirits of this age.
Does Mark Antony really want them to kill him now, or is he just saying that? Well, you could look at it two ways. Again, Mark Antony's very clever, and he knows that Brutus will fall for this.
O Antony, beg not your death of us. Though now we must appear bloody and cruel, as by our hands and this our present act you see we do, yet see you but our hands, and this the bleeding business they have done. Our hearts you see not, they are pitiful. And pity to the general wrong of Rome, as fire dries out fire, so pity hath done this deed on Caesar, for your part. To you our swords have leaden points, Mark Antony. Our arms in strength of malice, and our hearts of brother's temper do receive you in, with all kind love, good thoughts, and reverence.
Your voice shall be as strong as any man's in the disposing of new dignities.
Only be patient till we have appeased the multitude beside themselves with fear, and then we will deliver you the cause, why I, that did love Caesar when I struck him, have thus proceeded.
I doubt not of your wisdom. Let each man render me his bloody hand. First, Marcus Brutus, will I shake with you. Next, Caius Cassius, do I take your hand. Now, Decius Brutus, yours. Now yours, Metellus. Yours, Cinna, and my valiant Casca, yours, and though last, not least in love, yours, good Trebonius. Gentlemen all, alas, what shall I say? My credit now stands on such slippery ground that one of two bad ways you must conceit me, either a coward or a flatterer. That I did love thee, Caesar, oh, 'tis true. If then thy spirit look upon us now, shall it not grieve thee dearer than thy death to see thy Antony making his peace, shaking the bloody fingers of thy foes, most noble, in the presence of thy corse? Had I as many eyes as thou hast wounds, weeping as fast as they stream forth thy blood, it would become me better than to close in terms of friendship with thine enemies. Pardon me, Julius. Here wast thou bade, brave heart, here dost thou fall, and here thy hunters stand, signed in thy spoil and crimsoned in thy lethe. O world, thou wast the forest to this heart, and this indeed, O world, the heart of thee. How like a deer strucken by many princes dost thou here lie.
Mark Antony.
Pardon me, Caius Cassius. The enemies of Caesar shall say this. Then in a friend it is cold modesty.
I blame you not for praising Caesar so. But what compact mean you to have with us? Will you be pricked in number of our friends, or shall we on and not depend on you?
Therefore I took your hands, but was indeed swayed from the point by looking down on Caesar. Friends, am I with you all, and love you all, upon this hope, that you shall give me reasons why and wherein Caesar was dangerous.
Or else were this a savage spectacle? Our reasons are so full of good regard that were you, Antony, the son of Caesar, you should be satisfied.
That's all I seek, and am moreover suitor that I may produce his body to the marketplace, and in the pulpit, as becomes a friend, speak in the order of his funeral.
You shall, Mark Antony.
Brutus, a word with you. You know not what you do. Do not consent that Antony speak in his funeral. Know you how much the people may be moved by that which he will utter?
By your pardon, I will myself into the pulpit first, and show the reason of our Caesar's death. What Antony shall speak, I will protest he speaks by leave and by permission. And that we are contented Caesar shall have all true rites and lawful ceremonies. It shall advantage more than do us wrong.
So what have we seen here? Mark Antony has not turned his back necessarily on Caesar. He still continues to praise him, but he says he is with the conspirators as long as they can give him a good reason that they killed Caesar. In addition, he has also asked for a chance to speak at Caesar's funeral, which, because he is so flattering to these men, Brutus has granted him this. However, you'll notice here that Cassius does not seem to think this is a good idea. And while Cassius is very manipulative, Cassius is correct about Mark Antony. Brutus seems to think that by speaking first, he will be able to tell the people that Mark Antony is speaking with permission, and that Brutus will be able to sway the people first and get them onto his side. We'll see which one of these two is correct.
I know not what may fall, I like it not.
Mark Antony, here, take you Caesar's body. You shall not in your funeral speech blame us, but speak all good you can devise of Caesar, and say you do it by our permission. Else shall you not have any hand at all about his funeral. And you shall speak in the same pulpit whereto I am going, after my speech is ended.
Be it so. I do desire no more.
Prepare the body, then, and follow us.
Oh, pardon me.
What we're going to enter into now is what's called a soliloquy. This is when a character is speaking alone, usually perhaps to another object or another person who is not there. This gives us a chance to see into the character's mind and what they're really thinking. Up until this point, we've only seen Mark Antony and how he's reacting around the conspirators, but what is he really thinking? Also, you'll notice Mark Antony has been given permission to speak, but under two conditions. Number one, he has to go second, and number two, he cannot say anything bad about the conspirators outright. Let's see what happens in this soliloquy.
Thou bleeding piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe to the hand that shed this costly blood. Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war, all pity choked with custom of fell deeds, and Caesar's spirit ranging for revenge, with Arte by his side come hot from hell, shall in these confines with a monarch's voice cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth, with carrion men groaning for burial. You serve Octavius Caesar, do you not?
I do, Mark Antony.
Caesar did right for him to come to Rome.
He did receive his letters, and is coming, and bid me say to you by word of mouth... Oh, Caesar!
Thy heart is big. Get thee apart and weep. The passion I see is catching for mine eyes, seeing those bees of sorrow stand in thine. Began to water. Is thy master coming?
He lies tonight within 7 leagues of Rome.
Post back with speed, and tell him what hath chanced. Here is a morning Rome, a dangerous Rome. No Rome of safety for Octavius yet. Hie hence and tell him so, yet stay a while. Thou shalt not back till I have borne this corpse into the marketplace. And there shall I try, in my oration, how the people take the cruel issue of these bloody men, according to the which thou shalt discourse to young Octavius of the state of things. Lend me your hand.
So now the stage is set for what is perhaps one of the most interesting funerals ever. Brutus is going to speak first, a speech that he is confident he'll be able to convince the people that killing Caesar was a good idea and for the good of Rome. Mark Antony has also situated himself in a position where he's allowed to speak. He can't disprove the conspirators. However, we know he is not on their side. He wants to rally the people against them. And also another man, Octavius, Caesar's nephew and the heir to the throne, perhaps, is waiting outside of Rome. Mark Antony wants to keep him there for 2 reasons. Number 1, to keep him safe, and number 2, so Mark Antony can gain some power before it moves ahead. So let's go ahead to Act 3, Scene 2, where we see which one of these 2 plans plays out best. And for those of you that have been paying attention, you probably know that this is a tragedy. You know that Brutus is the main character, so it likely doesn't turn out well for him. But let's find out why. Act 3, Scene 2 begins now.